Think about the last time you agreed to plans when you were exhausted, or stayed quiet when a casual comment hurt your feelings. You likely smiled, nodded, and told yourself you were just keeping the peace. In reality, you were engaging in a quiet pattern of self-abandonment, shrinking your own needs to accommodate someone else. We often mistake this silent sacrifice for a sign of deep love or harmony. But as researcher Brené Brown points out, trading approval as survival comes with a steep cost. When you habitually swallow your feelings to keep another person comfortable, that suppression leads to chronic stress and physical tension. Because peace without truth is simply pretending. This exposes a flaw in the way we view romance, the idea that a good relationship has zero friction. Avoiding conflict at all costs removes the opportunity for genuine connection. You are left with two predictable outcomes: codependency, where your identity is entirely consumed by your partner, or toxic control, where one person's comfort dictates the entire dynamic. The antidote is setting a boundary. People often view boundaries as rejection, assuming that expressing a personal limit means pushing a partner away. When you fear setting those limits, you invite destructive behaviors. Without boundaries, partners can easily drift into isolation, where you are cut off from friends, or belittling, where your self-worth is routinely mocked under the guise of a joke. Building a healthy connection requires moving past the fairy tale of effortless romance. It is a conscious, daily practice. You have to balance personal independence with deep, compassionate connection. To see how that balance works, we look at the first phase of relationship psychology, the me. The structure of a partnership functions like a Venn diagram. If that independence is threatened, the relationship is failing. This shows up as isolation, when a partner pressures you to choose between them and your family, or intensity, where the pace of commitment is rushed, leaving you feeling obsessed over rather than supported. Protecting that independence requires a clear definition of what a boundary is. Boundaries aren't defensive walls built to keep people out. They are the defined safe spaces where love and respect can coexist. They communicate that you can care for someone deeply and still say no to a specific request. If you surrender your personal limits to appease someone else, you erase the very person your partner fell in love with. Building a healthy us requires you to protect a healthy, individual me. This leads to the second phase, the you. When Duke University's Student Affairs Department published their research on healthy relationships, they identified absolute trust and open honesty as mandatory baseline conditions. In a healthy dynamic, you never have to hide who you talk to or work hard to earn a partner's faith. You simply know it is there. Relationship researcher John Gottman explored how this trust manifests through a specific psychological tool, assuming good intentions. If your partner forgets to take out the trash or shows up late, you default to a generous explanation, like assuming they are tired, rather than a malicious conclusion about their character. When that baseline of trust is missing, insecurity fills the void. It breeds jealousy, where a person lashes out and controls who you text, and it invites sabotage, where a partner actively undermines your work or school success to keep you dependent. Manifesting that trust requires the mechanical tool of active listening. This means suspending your own need to be right. You read your partner's body language, maintain eye contact, and paraphrase what they told you to ensure you actually understood their feelings, rather than waiting in silence for your turn to speak. When you actively listen and assume the best in the person sitting across from you, the tone of a disagreement shifts. Daily conflict stops being a threat to the relationship and becomes an opportunity to build deeper intimacy. With the me and the you established, we reach the us. True equality means both people have the exact same say in the relationship. You make decisions together and compromise evenly to make the other person feel respected, without keeping a scorecard of who owes who. A relationship lacks this balance the moment manipulation enters the dynamic. That looks like using guilt or ignoring a partner to influence their decisions. It also shows up as deflecting responsibility, blaming bad behavior on stress or past experiences instead of owning the mistake. To navigate disagreements equitably, healthy couples rely on a specific tool, the I statement. Instead of launching an attack like, "You never take my schedule into account," a healthy communicator frames it internally. I feel overwhelmed when plans are changed at the last minute. This works because of how our brains process threats. A you statement feels like an attack on a person's character, which immediately triggers defensiveness and shuts down listening. An I statement keeps the focus strictly on the issue at hand and your emotional reaction to it. It lowers the temperature in the room. Equality means sharing emotional responsibility during a fight. You both avoid putting blame on each other and own up to your actions when you do something wrong. When you look at the final pillars of a healthy framework, taking responsibility, respect, and compassion, you see the exact traits that allow two people to navigate decades of life together. These are the shock absorbers for the inevitable bumps along the road. Love is a daily action. It requires the humility to offer genuine apologies, patience during tough times, and unwavering support of a partner's dreams. But none of this architecture holds up if we return to that opening paradox. You cannot build a foundation of honesty, trust, or equality if you are abandoning your own truth to keep the peace. Honoring your own needs ensures you aren't hiding. Expressing your limits gives your partner the chance to love the complex person you actually are. A lasting relationship is built by mastering the tension between independence and intimacy. You protect individual boundaries while pouring empathy into your shared connection, proving you can be entirely yourself and entirely loved at the same time.